and welcome to the Commode Code, your comprehensive guide to restroom etiquette in the 21st century. I'm your host, Justin York. I'm joined by my co-host, Peter Wyckoff.
Hey, everyone.
Sorry for taking the last episode off. We just had a lot of busy stuff and couldn't get around to recording. And unfortunately, there weren't any new developments in the Paris urinal situation for us to talk about. But we just found a new development in the situation, which is that now the local government of Paris has released a song encouraging men not to pee in public. We have an article in the show notes written by Brendan Cole writing for Newsweek, and it talks about the song, which is entitled Pas pipi dans Paris, or Don't Pee in Paris.
Pipi dans Paris, pas pipi dans Paris. Je dis merci, un grand et sincère merci à ceux qui ne font pas pipi. Pipi dans Paris, pas pipi dans Paris.
The video is really quite bananas. I advise you to go watch it. There's a link to that in the show notes as well.
Yeah, it's really a fantastic video. I was amazed with some of the choreography as well as the makeup.
Oh, and the costuming.
Oh, yeah.
All of it is really, it's a very yellow theme, as one might expect, and it has a lot of very evocative, this sentence isn't going anywhere.
I was going to help. I was like, I don't got you. Imagery, evocative imagery.
Yeah, it has a lot of evocative imagery, I guess. That was just restating what you said, but okay. Maybe I'll cut this out. Maybe I'll leave it in. Whatever. Let's move on to our main topic. Benjamin Franklin once wrote, "It is universally well known that in digesting our common food, there is created or produced in the bowels of human creatures a great quantity of wind. That the permitting this air to escape and mix with the atmosphere is usually offensive to the company, from the fetid smell that accompanies it. That all well-bred people, therefore, to avoid giving such offense, forcibly restrain the efforts of nature to discharge that wind." So, in light of this, was the correct protocol about letting this wind escape in the workplace in the modern era?
Yeah, I mean, this is a deep and nuanced subject. Farting in the workplace. I mean, we all have to pass gas from time to time. We all eat food. We all have similar reactions, some worse than others. But you kind of, again, have to, be aware of your workplace scenario versus your home or your out in the wild scenario. You don't want to be the guy that's known for stinking up like the office or crop dusting everybody in the workplace or even in the bathroom. I mean, it's sometimes okay to let one fly, but maybe it's not always okay. So I'd like to go into some of the nuance here.
All right. Yeah. So let's start with that. I assume that if you're in a stall, it's generally okay to just let it fly.
Yeah, I think you're right there. I mean, obviously, if somebody saw you go in the stall, like we know names and faces, and I'm in there, you might want to decide whether or not you want that person to know that you're like having an extreme flatulence situation, or maybe you don't care.
Well, and if they see you go into the stall,
Sure.
Eventually maybe they could match your face with your exhaust note and be able to figure out who...
Yeah. For future sessions, you might easily be identified.
Or in like a more public setting.
I'm still amazed by the exhaust note.
I've been watching a lot of car videos on YouTube, and every time I hear the phrase exhaust note, I sort of think about, well, there is an equivalent to that in humans.
Yes, I guess that is true. That is true. So yeah, I mean, for the most part, when you're in the stall, you can just go ahead and take care of business. I mean, that's kind of expected in that area. Yeah. But I think it's a little more questionable when you're at the urinals, right? Because, I mean, obviously it's better to pass gas at the urinal than it is like mid-meeting in like some, room in front of people. However, like if somebody's walking behind you while you're at the urinal, maybe you give them a courtesy wait, of a few seconds to get past you before you fire off something at the urinal.
Right. Now, do you need to be vigilant about approaching people as well?
Yeah, I mean, you got to be a little wary. I mean, you want to like make some noise as you come in. You don't want to come in like ninja style and you're right behind somebody sneaking past and they hit you with one. That could be awkward. So in general, if you're at the urinal, you're not really talking to anybody. You're by yourself. Go ahead, fire at will. It's my general theory. But be aware of your surroundings. Be aware of the other occupants in the restroom.
Now, do you think flatulence is a proper form of warning if there was a restroom violation. Can you violate the rules, like to come back and like inform them, hey, you violated norms? So if someone like turns their head at the urinal and tries to make eye contact and start a conversation with you, is it okay to then signal with a fart? Like,
if you have one queued up and somebody starts talking to you, I would look right back, make direct eye contact and let fly, and no words are exchanged. But that is like a real power move, and it takes a lot of skill.
Well, this is what I'm saying, though. It's like, it's a response to, a violation in response to a violation. You just sort of, I don't know if this is a good place to escalate necessarily, but
again, it would depend on your audience. I mean, obviously if you're dealing with a skip level manager next to you, you probably don't want to do the aggressive, fart back in their direction.
Right.
But, I might even restrain myself a little extra if there's somebody in the restroom in general that's up the management chain.
Yeah.
Just once again, you want to maintain that kind of reputation as a stand-up person at work. You don't want to, be the little, extra gassy, extra noisy, extra chatty in the bathroom person.
Right. But if someone's the jokey, always trying to pull a silly thing, I'm thinking of someone in particular that both of us used to work with.
I think I know who we're talking about.
Let's call him JR.
Oh, yeah, that guy.
Yeah.
No, I could see he would probably go full eye contact and aggressive fart without even provocation.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think if you were to fart,
that'd be awesome.
He might try to fire back.
He would probably try.
Pretty amazing, actually.
It would be great if it would become like a dueling banjos at the at the urinals.
Well, that's like a season 1 Family Guy bit, isn't it?
Probably.
I think Peter and Michael Moore. There's a bit in one of the early seasons of Family Guy with that. So let's talk about, what about the sinks? Is it ever okay to let one fly at the sink?
Again, you got to use your best judgment. I mean, you're in the restroom, so in general, you're in the right place to be letting one fly if you have to. Hopefully, if you've already been in the stall or at the urinal, you would have, tried to take care of that over there and not bring it to the sinks. And especially if you have a sink partner, you don't want to, be firing one off right when they're looking at you in the mirror or something like that. That would be bad. But, again, if you're kind of by yourself, I would say go ahead, fire at will while you're at the sinks.
All right. So let's step outside the restroom into the rest of the workplace. I think here's where we get into the really interesting situations.
Yeah. I mean, here's where you really got to use your judgment. I mean, there's all sorts of different workplaces, obviously, that we, various people work in. We've got open environments. We've got people who have offices. We've got smaller kind of rooms, where there's only like 10 to 15 people in the room. Again, you really have to use that judgment because you don't want to be the person who's stinking it up. Can you maintain deniability?
Right.
Like if you want to fire one off and it's a bad one, will people be able to pinpoint it on you? Or if there's 20 people in the room, something bad happens, can they narrow it down? Do they know where it came from? Or is it just circulating around and we're all pissed that somebody dropped one off?
Oh, so you need to know a little bit about like the HVAC dynamics of the room and shared work.
If you've got some time, you should bring out some, come in with a smoke test and see how the HVAC and the aerodynamics work of the room, but probably don't have that option. So,
well, see, this could actually be how you deal with it is you pass some gas and then you burn some sage or something and you're walking around and you're watching the where the smoke goes. So you're killing 2 birds with 1 stone.
I think even better would be you pass some gas and then you just grab a thing of Febreze and you shoot it in the air, just kind of like a signal flare. Hey, everybody, that was me. I apologize. I'm trying to make it right.
Trying to make it right.
But again, I mean, I'd say outside of the restroom in the workplace, your options are limited. Like, for example, I work in an open environment where it's just rows of desks. There's no barriers. There's no cubicles, even whatever. It's very open. So unless it's a sheer accident, probably wouldn't drop any sort of an air bomb at my desk.
Okay. Even if your normal dynamic would be like a silent but deadly situation.
Yeah. I mean, you've got the noise factor, but then you've also got the smell factor, and it's just not, it's not good at the desk. So some workplaces have smaller conference rooms, like individual conference rooms or
like a phone room, quote unquote.
Phone room, VC meeting rooms, whatever. If you've got just like a big old bomb you want to drop, but you don't want to go all the way to the restroom, maybe look quickly. Is one of these rooms available? And what you do then is you either bust out the cell phone or you get, on the system in the room and you look like you're in a meeting.
Right.
Just take a minute. You're like, pretend you're talking to somebody, blah, blah, blah. And then boom, and then you let it go. And then you got to wait to dissipate because you do not want somebody coming in right after you with the obvious, that person just dropped the bomb.
Just knowing that it's the fart closet.
Yeah, exactly. And which carries over nicely to the elevator etiquette because that is in itself a small closet.
Now, that usually is one of the places with the worst air circulation dynamics, from what I've noted.
You've got bad air circulation, and you really, it's Russian roulette because you get on that elevator, you drop a bomb, where you're getting off, you don't know who's coming in that elevator. Could be nobody. Hey, empty chamber. We all are happy right now.
Right.
Or it could be just like boss plus like some external, company guests that are all getting on the elevator and you're standing there as the only individual who just dropped a bomb and ruined the elevator.
Right. And your boss is there with trying to land a new client.
Exactly. They're trying to sign a
To
deal.
make a sale.
Right.
Yeah.
And you've just destroyed the elevator and then you walk by and wave and they all get on and you're fired the next day.
I mean, I've definitely had the situation where I've come into an elevator and there's been an unknown source of aroma.
Yes.
I've had the situation where the elevator came, there was an aroma in the elevator.
Yep.
I rode the elevator to the floor that I was going on.
Yep.
And I came off of the elevator and someone else was getting on.
Yes. Yeah.
That's really awkward.
It is. That's a secondhand delivery guy right there.
Because it looks like I did it.
Yep.
Someone else. So I actually felt the need in that situation to be like, you got to watch out for a smell in there, man.
Yeah, that's where you got to decide in a hurry, like a real quick hurry.
Yeah.
Am I going proactive on this one? And like, we're talking about this. I don't even know who you are getting on the elevator.
Yeah.
But I want to make it clear that what you're about to experience was not mine.
Yeah. And I've had that with both flatulence and with people who wear way too much perfume, where I'm pretty sure they put the perfume on in the elevator. And it's just like,
just a blast.
It's just a blast.
Yeah.
So I've had to do that in multiple scenarios.
Yeah. I mean, in general, again, it's like I try to live by the golden rule, do unto others.
Yeah.
So I try really hard not to pass any gas anywhere near that elevator just because I wouldn't want somebody having to get on that elevator and suffer with that thing. Now, that said, accidents have happened. I'm sure people were somewhat offended at times, but sometimes you don't have control. Whatever happens, happens. You might sneeze, one flies out, something like that. But,
yeah. Now, what about hallways? You talked about going into like a small room if you can find a potential fart closet.
Right.
If you're just walking down a hallway, let's say your small room is occupied.
Yeah.
Your restrooms are very far away.
Sure.
What about just doing like a crop dust operation in the hallway?
Yeah. Again, I mean, usually you can get away with that as long as it's not noise generating. Like you might think you're in the clear and somebody is like just comes around the corner right as you let fly and they hear it, then you're busted. But if you can sneak one out as you walk through the hallway, again, you're rude. You're crop dusting the entire hallway and probably several individuals.
Yeah.
But it was probably better than, just at your desk letting it fly and everybody's like, I don't want to sit anywhere near this person anymore.
Right.
So that's kind of a backup, I'd say, is go on the walkabout, and let it fly on the road.
Yeah, that's a situation I've used from time to time. If you're very far from the restroom, but say you're close to like a kitchenette, it's like, it's time to go get my next coffee, get my refill my water, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Especially if there's some people that you kind of don't like in the workplace, you can kind of do a passive aggressive, crop dusting of their general area as you pass by, but you got to once again keep it subtle.
Yeah.
You don't want to, don't make it obvious that it was you. Don't make it a habit. Every Tuesday I do this. They'll start to put the pattern together.
You got to be totally random.
I agree.
Okay. What about if you're in a private office, you're the manager, or you work in a company that somehow still has private offices?
Sure.
What's the etiquette there? How free are you to let fly in your own office?
Again, it's risky. I mean, you've got your own private office and that's great, but unless you have a do not disturb sign up, you always have the chance of somebody comes a knocking right after you've let fly. It's almost like a
Murphy's Law.
Thank you. I was going to say Moore's Law, but that's
no.
you always have the chance that somebody's going to come knocking right after you've let a fart go. And it's totally a Murphy's Law. Like the moment you do, and it's a bad one, somebody's immediately knocking at that door, and then you're stuck. You're trapped. You're in the room. I mean, you have the choice of picking up the phone quickly and going on the fake call and giving them the 1 second, I'm not free right now, come back later. Or, I mean, I'll go on record and say I had a personal experience related to this. It was a little embarrassing years ago, back when we all had private offices at a certain high-tech company here. And I'm in there, whatever, something didn't agree with me at lunch, wasn't a great day for the smells, and I let one fly. Within 2 minutes, we're talking skip level or higher managers knocking at my door.
Yeah.
And I just go into sheer terror panic mode, because it's like, you can't, even if you're on the phone, you can't tell like big boss man, come back, I'm on the phone, right? It's like, you got,
you're getting he'd be giving you the wrap it up sign.
Yeah, wrap it up. Let's get over here. So anyway.
And you've been cited in this situation. Like there's a window.
There's window.
You can't
there's
hide
full
under
eye
the
contact.
desk.
Yeah. So all I thought I could do, and who knows how well this worked. It was probably still awkward. I got up from my desk, went to the door, opened the door, and said, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'll be right back. I just got to run down the thing." And I'm pretty sure he said something like, "Oh, it'll just take a minute." And I was like, "No, I'll be right back. I swear, I'll be right back," because I literally had just destroyed the office. And he, at that point, probably had noticed what was going on, because I probably dragged something towards the front door. But anyway, that was a horrific, thing that stays with me. And there's many a night I still think about that one.
You think that that manager thought you had a chamber pot in there? You're just like doing your business, optimizing out the whole restroom from your routine. I guess that would be like a sign of efficiency, right?
Like, this guy's so committed to the job, he doesn't want to leave to take care of business. Yeah. But no. Yeah, that was awkward. So again, if you're in an office, even if you think you're in the clear, if you've got something bad going on that day, just take it on the road. Just do a quick walk to the kitchen, wherever it is, just to expel that gas, and then come back.
Now, what about outdoor?
Sure.
If you want to go outside and smoke, there's like a courtesy radius that most people will go away from any of the external doors. Some people aren't as good with that, but usually people will, go 20 feet away from the external door. Do you think it's the same type of thing if you're going to go outside to pass wind?
I'm not too big of a believer in the big radius. I mean, if you're outside, I think as long as you're a couple of feet away from the primary entrance, I think you just let it fly. Hopefully there's some gentle breeze that day or something. I mean, if we're talking full stagnant air, 80 degrees, high humidity, you probably don't want to drop one in like the rotating, like revolving door.
Oh, I assume you want to be clear of the revolving door. And
well, that could be entertaining.
That could be, or like an airlock situation where you have like two sets of doors, like you see on a lot of office buildings.
Exactly.
That's probably one of the worst places.
Put one in the airlock.
Yeah.
And then just sit there and watch. Yeah. So if you're outside, though, for the most part, it's kind of, I just in general outside would say, just keep moving. Don't be standing there and somebody walks up to talk to you and you're sitting in a gas cloud.
Right.
So it's like, if you're going to drop one, go on a little walk.
It's another, it's another walkabout situation.
Yeah, you don't want to, no reason to be stationary at that point.
Yeah, I think it's perfectly valid, if your coworkers are taking smoke breaks, that you take a gas break if you're not a smoker.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just say you're vaping. You're not specifying what type of vapor. That's right. But you are, there's a vapor involved here.
That there is. I did want to circle back to the restroom etiquette related to farting or passing gas. There is this rare thing that happens that probably everybody's aware of called the Shart.
Yes.
It's kind of one of the scariest moments in one's life, if you will. So specifically in the workplace, but this would apply to many other situations. Cause I mean, even if you're like out at a show or somewhere.
Well, anywhere where you're probably away from home.
Away from home, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, at home, you're fine. Whatever, you've got ample solutions to the problem.
Yep.
But now let's talk workplace. So first, let's talk about how to prevent this. So if it's been a bad day, like something bad digestively is going on, when you're at that urinal, you're going to be extra careful about what you're doing there.
Yes.
Let's not go for the aggressive flatulence, because we all know that it could go wrong. So let's assume you thought you were in the clear. You didn't know it was a bad digestive day, but you're at the urinal. You went for the toot and you got the full Monty. something happened.
A full follow through.
Yeah. With follow through. Right. So at this point, okay, what do? I'm in the workplace. Something horrible's just happened.
Yep.
Okay. This is the Shart Protocol. This is where gets real. Stuff gets real.
Yeah. Well, I mean, quite literally.
Yes, it is. So
it's gotten real.
First, this is why you always have a gym bag at work. Even if you don't work out, even if you don't have a gym, you have a gym bag at work. What's in this gym bag? Ideally, a fresh set of underwear, maybe a fresh set of pants. Who knows? Maybe some backup tissues or wipes, anything like that. But maintain a bag at work. Obviously, when this issue happens, you're away from the bag. So you have to go very subtly, if you're at a urinal, and make it into a stall. So we've talked about this on other episodes. Ideally, what you're going to have to do is pretend everything's fine. Finish with a urination.
Right.
Smile at your coworkers. Maybe even go to the sink awkwardly. Wash up. Try to wait them out. You have to.
You have to go to the sink?
Yeah, because you can never go sink to stall with full witnesses.
You mean urinal stall?
Urinal to stall with witnesses. That's odd. Or even sink to stall after urinal. That's a weird
So you need
triangle.
to wait till you've cleared, the space is cleared.
Yeah. Or you got a fresh set of people in there that don't know where you're going. Like if you look like you just gone in front, nonetheless, you get into that stall. At this point, your underwear are disposable.
Okay.
I don't care if they're your favorite set. I don't care if these are the coolest underwear you've ever owned. Say goodbye to them right now because they're gone. We're done. You're not taking them out of that restroom. So at this point in the stall, you have to get out of those underwear. You have to subtly depant somehow without witnesses. Get out of those underwear, ball them up safely so nobody gets splashed.
Right.
Then you get your pants back on. You're free balling at this point if you're a male.
Yeah. You're going commando.
You're going commando for anybody. You're going commando. You're going to come out of, after you clean up, obviously, you're going to come out of that stall. You're going to have these underwear hidden nicely in case there are witnesses. They don't want to see you carrying a balled up set of underwear out of the stall. What the hell is this guy doing? You're going to get those into the trash bin ASAP, again, so witnesses don't see. At this point, you're free balling, you're commando. You're going to wash up, and I'm talking surgeon scrub wash up because it's probably not been great. You're getting back to your desk, see what your coworkers are up to, smile, wave, everything's normal. Hey, everybody, this is great. I might go for a workout. You grab your gym bag. You're going back to that restroom. You're going to get those fresh underwear on that are in that gym bag that you've had in there for 6 years because you haven't had this problem in 6 years. Hopefully those underwear still fit. Redress in the stall, come out none the wiser. Everybody's happy. You're clean, good to go.
All right. Well,
now
sounds like you've got this well-defined.
I've had a gym bag in my desk my entire career.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I go to the gym that often.
Now, something that, I've recently started, I'm working as freelancer, and sometimes you're going to like a client's space, right? And I'm bringing my own equipment, so I have a backpack with a laptop in it, stuff like that. Should I be keeping underwear in there also? It's
never, ever a bad idea to have spare underwear, no matter where you are.
Yeah.
I mean, they can always come in handy. I mean, it's like, even if you're going to a concert, why not just have some underwear with you?
Just like in your back pocket?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure. They search you at the front. It's like, what? Underwear? Okay. You're in. It's like,
interesting. Yeah. Just imagining being the security person. Yeah. I went to a concert and it was like their rule was clear bags only, right? So you definitely have to like show that I have this, this is my emergency kit. It's got, underwear. It's got, what else would be in your emergency kit?
Yeah.
Because this is probably something you should build up multiple of these and deploy them. You should have one in your vehicle.
Around.
Yeah, it's like a first aid kit. You should have one in your vehicle. You should have one at your desk at the office. You should have one that's in like your travel go bag.
Yeah, that's a great idea, actually.
Yeah.
I mean, at a minimum, you want underwear and like some wet wipes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of the minimal kit. But, you could get more advanced, I'm sure, there. Because, I mean, even a pair of shorts is a good idea in case there's a full-on blow through and it's like the pants have been involved with the accident or something horrible like that. I mean, it's like the more prepared, the better.
Yeah. I mean, if the pants are involved, then you get into a situation where you're going to need some way to
get a full shower.
either, well, ideally in any of these situations, you want a full shower.
That would be
but,
ideal.
A lot of times you're not going to work in a workplace that has a shower. You're not going to work in a workplace where you could take breaks whenever you want,
Right.
Are you going to wait till it's your lunch?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure, you're working at a hardware store or something.
Mm-hmm.
You went for a restroom break.
Mm-hmm.
I think people would probably be understanding if you took a few extra minutes before coming back,
Sure. Yeah.
rather than coming back with soiled pants.
Nobody
But-
wants that. Yeah. That's awkward. Yeah.
But you could come into the situation where, you're not going to be able to take a full shower
Right.
in that sort of scenario.
Yeah.
So if the pants are compromised,
Mm-hmm.
then you're probably in a situation where you might have to write those off as a total loss too, unless you can come up with a pack out.
Yeah. I mean, if you have a
Plan, right?
gym bag and you're able to do like leave the restroom, even with the soiled pants, but get back in there quickly, it's at this point, it's very touch and go. I mean, all sorts of horrible things could happen on the way.
Right. So I'm going to suggest as an add-on, I think you should have a kitchen side trash bag in there.
Oh, yeah.
Like a 53, well, not 53 gallon. That might be too
Sizable.
much. No, like the 13
Yes,
gallon
yes.
kitchen trash bag,
Yes.
because that can contain whatever amount of clothing you want.
That's
you
a
can
good
seal
idea.
it in.
That's a great idea to have
Yeah.
the bag in there. I wonder if you even go with like the scented diaper genie style bags to cover up some scents, but
well,
good
if you
choice.
have like the poopery, could also be something that goes in there,
Mhm.
as we discussed in the last episode. You could give that a few squirts, and
Absolutely.
I'm sure that all washes off when you get home and you put your pants in the
Sure.
wash on heavy duty.
Yeah, heavy duty.
Heavy
Yeah.
duty.
I want Santa wash there. I want high temp, full cycle. Throw some borax in there, whatever else you need.
Yep.
But in general, again, let's try to avoid the situation altogether. Just be very careful when you choose to let fly at work.
Right. Yeah. Know your body.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Know
if
what you
you're
eat.
going to, know what you eat.
Mhm.
Know if you're getting that feeling, if you
Mhm.
know
Mhm.
that it might be a bad scene, maybe go sit down to pee that day if
That's
you're
right.
a guy, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Worst thing that could happen is you're tooting in the stall.
Yep.
I mean, much better than sharting in the pants.
exactly. All right. So I think that covers the Shart Protocol. Does that cover everything you wanted to hit about farting at work?
I think so. I'm sure we'll get some listener questions
Yeah.
based on this whole topic, but that's all I wanted to cover for today.
Are there any other places that you want to discuss flatulence? Like, what about like a friend's house,
Yeah.
out at a concert?
Yeah. I mean, concert situation,
Yeah.
ball game, whatever. Again, the deniability's there. It's huge
Right.
crowd, easy to do.
Yeah, you're in a mosh pit. You can just, whatever.
People almost expect it. So
Yes.
it's like, I'm not concerned in those situations. At a friend's house, though, smaller crowd, probably just hanging out, take it outside if you can. If it's not
Okay.
pouring rain, step outside, have a look at, on the back porch, let fly, get a beer, come back in.
Right.
Mhm.
All right. Sounds good. Okay. I think that's it for our discussion of flatulence. Now we'll move on to our do's and don'ts segment, where we adjudicate your restroom encounters and answer your burning questions. So our first question this week comes from frequent question asker listener Burton. He asks, is it okay to be in the bathroom while my partner uses the toilet? And he says, does gender factor in here?
Mm-hmm.
Now, when he's saying gender factoring in, I don't know if he's talking about, we're talking heterosexual versus homosexual couples. I don't know if he's talking about, in a heterosexual couple, is it if one,
Mm-hmm.
if the male's on the toilet
Right.
or if the female's on the toilet?
Right. That's
I'm not
how
really
I read
sure.
It. Yeah.
And I didn't really want to follow up because I wanted to talk about it on the show,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't think that makes any difference. Do you?
I don't know. No, I would say it probably doesn't.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like it depends how you want to be seen by that other person.
Right.
I mean, we all know everybody uses the restroom, right?
Yes.
And it also depends what's going on in that restroom. I mean, hey, I'm taking a small tinkle.
Yeah.
Is maybe okay.
Yeah. Like, I think in your home, this is just an agreement you need to come to with your partner
Right.
of, whether you're a door open household, whether you're a, cohabitation of the restroom household.
Yep.
Obviously there's overrides, if there's a medical situation, if someone's on like a sedative or something,
Sure.
obviously, and they need help,
Right.
that's going to be an override.
Right.
But otherwise, it's up to you. I would say in a public situation, you don't share, right? Like,
Oh yeah.
you don't have a couple where you both go to the restroom.
No, I don't think that's a normal situation there.
Yeah. Now, granted, recently I was in Louisville and we were at this restaurant which only had a single, like one person bathroom set up.
Yep.
And there was a group of bikers there. I would say like, I don't know, 6 or 8, like, typical big motorcycle burly guys.
I thought you meant spandex cyclists. No, you meant, no, I'm just kidding.
Wearing leather, all that.
Yeah.
And, there was a bit of a queue for the restroom where, one of us went and one of those guys went and another one went. Then 2 of the guys went in together.
Nice.
And then they came out together.
Amazing.
Yeah. We don't really know what went down there.
Crossing the streams, sword fighting.
Yeah. But it was definitely something that was noted.
Cocaine. And who knows what was going on in there?
Yeah.
Could have not been bathroom related at all. Could have been a deal.
Oh, it could have been a deal. It could have been it could have been sexual in nature.
Oh, goodness.
Could have been all sorts of things. We have no idea.
Yeah.
But I can tell you that what did happen is that everyone in the restaurant commented on it, right? Like me and all the guys I was with and our waitress.
Everybody saw it.
The bartender.
Those 2 guys just go in there together?
What is that? So I think, even if it's clear that you're going in with your spouse,
right,
that's still
awkward.
And
unless you're carrying an infant. If you have an infant, you can both go in.
Yes.
Because obviously we're changing a diaper. Or
right.
Dealing with something.
Yeah. That's an override situation again, right? Where it's like, I totally understand what you're doing. If you're going in there, it's 2 adults with an infant and a diaper bag. It's like, okay, you're dealing with it. And then you can use your own judgment as to whether one or both of the adults can use the restroom as well.
I would agree. Yeah.
So that's your free pass to apply your home etiquette out in public.
Right.
Is if you have an infant.
Yeah. It's
because,
like your little multi-pass to get in there.
Well, yeah. And it's like, if you're a new parent, you're dealing with enough stuff anyways that
nobody's gonna judge you on that one.
No, that's true.
But I mean, like, even like circling back to the listener Burton's original question, it's like, for me personally, it's like I try not to ever leave a door open or something at home. But if I do, I'm not super worried about it. I try not to, but if it happens, I'm not like embarrassed or anything like that. But I've never in my life seen my wife in the restroom.
Okay.
Like, taking care of business. You know what I mean? So it's like, I assume that doesn't even happen.
That's a perfectly healthy assumption to have about another human being.
That's right. Yeah.
I think, and it's even more fraught if you have children, right?
Oh, yeah.
Because you don't really want them coming in there.
No.
I mean, that's one of the few places you can escape from your children, especially when they're little, right?
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
You don't want them in there all the time.
Find yourself in there a little extra time.
Yeah.
Reading a book on the device.
Well, again, this goes back to the stall gaming.
That's right.
iPhone changing the way we poop type of situation.
Totally. But at the same time, children are kind of naive in that respect. They'll just barge in, sit down next to you while you're on the can and start asking you questions like, oh, are you pooping?
Yeah.
You're like, well, yes, I am.
Well,
thanks for checking.
Oh, it's a teachable moment.
It is, really is. Hey, everybody poops.
Everybody poops. All right. So I hope that helps, Burton. And by helps, I mean, no, we can't actually help you. You and Arissa have to figure this out for yourselves.
Nice.
Well, I mean, she came on the show and told us.
Yes, she knows that guy.
She knows that guy. Our second question comes from listener Eric, who presents the following scenario. Let's say you accidentally, due to an urgent poop situation in an unfamiliar layout, end up in the opposite sex's bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
He asks, what do you do post-poop in this situation?
Yeah. Again, I mean, it's like the first question I have, is this somehow workplace related, which I doubt because it's not an unfamiliar situation.
Right.
But obviously if it was, you want to go full, like.
You need to wait for the blackout.
You might be waiting till 8:00 at night to come out of that restroom just to make sure you're not, violating some policies and thusly terminated the next day.
I could see where this could happen a lot would be if you're going to like a professional conference.
Sure.
And, you eat the provided box lunch and, that was prepared and stored in not the best conditions.
Sure was.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you find yourself in the in a bad state and you might end up in the wrong restroom.
Yeah.
Which also leads me to want to bring up, more often at some of the conferences I've been to now, they're going with the gender neutral restrooms.
Yes.
They're just, they're taking the normal men's and women's room and they're overlaying a sign that says gender neutral.
Right.
Totally cool with me. Fine. However, when I go, like, you don't know which one you're walking into at this point.
Right. If they're
it's obscured.
Yeah. If they're just retrofitting it
Right.
to gender neutral,
Yeah.
I think, you really should, and we talked about this on an earlier episode, they should really put up a sign that says what type of fixtures are in there. Right. And I would go so far as to say the quantity of those fixtures.
Sure, that's a great idea. 18 stalls, 2 whatever.
Yeah, it should be like 6 urinals,
Right.
8 stalls on this one, and then you're over on the other one,
Yeah.
and it says 12 stalls or
Right.
whatever, and then you can know, even though it's a gender neutral restroom, based on the equipment they have and the
Totally.
equipment you have,
Yes.
you could choose the right match.
Right. Because I have seen in the case where it's they've done this, and it used to be the men's room, so it had a bunch of urinals in there as well as stalls. And the ladies would walk in not knowing because it was obscured at this point.
Right.
But now there's, they might not want to be in that one with the urinals, but
Well, and you
nonetheless.
might end up with a lot more people queued up for the stalls.
Right, because you have a small
than
supply.
you really need to.
Totally.
And it could be one of those things where, again, if we're overlaying from gender to gender neutral,
Right.
and the men's used to be on the right
Yep.
and the ladies used to be on the left,
Mm-hmm.
people are more apt to just go to the right.
Yes.
Because of, various biases around, more people are right-handed.
Ooh,
And so this is
interesting.
actually like a thing you
Yeah.
can look up, right?
So I would like to see
So people-
that psychological study where they reverse the genders of the bathrooms. See how many people go into the wrong bathroom
Right.
without looking, just on habit
Oh, so
of right or left.
So instead of overlaying it with
Yeah.
gender neutral, you just swap
Swap,
them
yeah.
at some point
Yeah.
with a place like say Moscone Center,
Uh-huh.
where you have all of these in San Francisco,
Yeah.
where you have all these annual conferences.
Mm-hmm.
One I'm thinking about for our industry is the Game Developers Conference. If you do that, and
Yeah.
instead of overlaying with the gender neutral, you
just
swap them one year,
and see what we
it'd
could
be
we could-
very
yeah.
entertaining.
Yeah, that could be a good field study for this
Yeah,
podcast.
because it's a place that a bunch of people know,
Totally.
but don't visit
Right.
often, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, same thing with any of these major conventions.
Mhm.
Interesting. Yeah, let's
Mhm.
make a note of that in the future when we have a large budget to
Uh-huh.
do a
Do field studies.
psychological
Yeah,
field study. We could try this out.
yeah, it's nice. I think what coming out of this whole
Yeah.
topic, I might designate one bathroom at our house to be the men's room and one to be the ladies' room.
Oh, okay.
So I don't accidentally, stumble upon anybody in the restroom at the wrong time.
Now, isn't there a large gender imbalance in your house that would make this difficult?
There is. There would be 4 boys and 1 girl.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be a lot of waiting at the one restroom.
That's
but,
right.
Hey, it might be worth it.
I mean, a lot of people will have the one restroom that's designated as the poop restroom,
Ooh,
right?
yeah.
Either because it's removed from the
mhm.
common areas, or it has the best ventilation,
Good idea.
or whatever, right? So this is just going on that to another level, right?
I could just imagine you have company over and they're like, "Hey, where's your restroom?" You're like, 1 or 2.
Yeah.
You're like 2. You're like, round the corner, take a left.
Right.
If you have to go the other one, it's right here.
Yeah. Well, if you go number 1, you
Yeah.
can go anywhere.
Sure.
If it's number 2, you got to go
Yeah.
downstairs. right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So let's get back to Eric's original question
Mhm.
of like escaping. So popping the stack back up. It's like if you're in the workplace, you probably shouldn't be there. You need to be hyper vigilant,
Yes.
right? Make sure that you're clear
Yes.
before you exit. In a more, in a more mixed environment. So say one of these big conferences,
Right.
but where they haven't gone over to gender neutral restrooms and they're
Right.
still using mainly gendered restrooms,
Mhm.
and you happen to go into the wrong one because of
Just a
an emergency
or
situation.
a mix-up, or
Yeah.
your head was down. You were reading an email when
Yeah.
you walked in.
Do you just exit? Do you try to wait for a lull in activity? A lot of these times, a lot of these places, it's going to be pretty
High traffic.
busy in
Yeah.
there, right? An airport,
Yeah.
a conference center, like
Yep.
there's not going to be a lot of lulls for you to wait for.
No, I think you just kind of have to deal with it. You just
just-
come out.
Yep.
You just don't make a lot of eye contact. You just pretend everything's normal and you
Yeah.
wash up and you leave.
So now here's a question.
Sure.
Is it a fair thing to actually exit
Mhm.
and then go to the correct restroom to wash up? So
Right.
I've accidentally gone into the ladies. I've
Right.
done my business in the stall. I realize that I'm in
And
the
then you
ladies
just panic
because
and you run out of there.
yeah, can I just I wouldn't panic and run, but I would potentially forego washing up and go straight over to the men's and just go into wash up.
I'm going to say no.
No, don't do
At
that.
this point, you want to come out at leisurely pace,
Okay.
smiles all around. You want to walk up to that sink. You want to wash up, make it
Yep.
very clear you're washing. Hey, this was a great experience. Thanks for letting me share it with you.
Right.
And now I'm leaving. Because
Okay.
otherwise, I think not only did this dirty SOB use our restroom, they just skipped the wash completely and ran out of here without washing. They don't know you're going into the men's. So now they double hate you.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Noted.
I think, yeah, just wash up, own it. If somebody asks you about it, you just say, "Oh, innocent mistake. I'm sorry. I'm used to gender neutral bathrooms. I'm from wherever." Something like
Right.
that. Yeah.
Okay.
No big deal.
No big deal.
Yeah, we're all good here.
All right. I think that's going to do it for this week's episode of the Commode Code. Show notes for this episode are at commode.show/4. The show's on Twitter and Facebook as at Commode Code. You could find me on Twitter at Bang False. Peter's on Twitter at The Mad Crapper. Make sure to check our show notes for the links, especially to that music video that we mentioned earlier.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Our music is by audionautics.com. Please help us out by reviewing us on Apple Podcasts or giving us a star in Overcast. If any of your friends might like this sort of thing, please recommend the show to them. And we'll probably be back again in another fortnight. I'm hoping to get back on that schedule as much as we can. So.
Yeah, that's the goal for sure.
All right.